So the product we're taking a look at today is the Burst Wizard King Kong Super 2 MOSFET. And what makes this MOSFET so unique is the fact that it can work as a plug-and-play solution to getting the 3-round burst feature that so many airsoft players want in your airsoft gun. And it works by just connecting your battery connector and the connector that's supposed to usually go to your battery into this thing. Basically, it creates a little bypass, and this circuitry here, this MOSFET, will create the 3-round burst feature for you when it's usually a fully auto fire from your airsoft gun. Semi-auto is not affected. So the first thing you'll notice that here is that this is the MOSFET unit itself. It's very small. It has the 2 Tamiya connectors on this model. They also make a Dean's connector. The package also contains the wiring kit if you want to hardwire it into your airsoft gun, and it also contains a very detailed instruction pamphlet here. And it not only contains wiring instructions to actually attach it to your airsoft gun, but also programming instructions, because this MOSFET uses trigger pulls right after, I think it's like 6 seconds after you plug it in. You can hit your trigger and you can actually program it to do various modes, different types of burst fire if you want it to do 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 7 rounds. It's pretty much up to you on what you want to program it. It'll also do precocking, which is pretty cool. Basically, that'll engage the motor to where it's ready to fire right away instead of having to pull the piston back. And that's a lot of the other stuff that you can do here when it's actually hardwired in to your airsoft gun. Okay, so as you can see, we have a 9.6 volt butterfly battery connected to the M27IR. Here is the MOSFET. It's got its little LED indicator showing that we're all good to go. So we're going to fire once in semi, and then we're going to fire a 3-round burst. So what you probably noticed is that when I did the 3-round burst, there was a brief pause. I was still holding down the trigger. After that pause, it then went into a fully automatic mode. The cool part about that is that you can choose to use the 3-round burst by holding your finger on it, 3 rounds, let it go, 3 rounds, let it go. Or you can just hold your finger down on the trigger the entire time, and after that brief 0.6 second delay after the first 3-round burst, you'll just resume back into fully automatic mode, so you're not actually losing that. It's really easy to use. I mean, literally, it is just plug and play. And again, they have a Tamiya and a Dean's connector version. It's up to you whichever one you want to use. The other interesting thing about this is that you can, well, if you wanted to go that route, you can add an additional level of realism to your airsoft play. A lot of people run high caps. They don't like to run mid caps. I personally like the mid caps. It's, you know, some fields though have an issue with players using only high caps. Some have mid caps. You know, every field's a little different. What you can do with this is, if you want to use your high-capacity magazines on a more realistic level or use them on a field that only allows mid-caps, they have a reload delay feature on the Burst Wizard King Kong Super 2 that basically you program it with the amount of BBs that your magazine is supposed to hold, or what you know, in reality, what it should hold. So it could be 30 BBs, could be 20, could be whatever you want it to be. And then after that amount of time, you will experience like a couple second delay where you just can't fire. And that is supposed to be the amount of time that it would take you to have reloaded. So that's a cool feature that I know a few fields around here are using, if you have it, in lieu of actually just using mid-caps. So it's a really cool, cool MOSFET. It can be used in a lot of different ways. I was just impressed that if I didn't want to go the route of actually having it hardwired in, I could just plug it in and get my 3-round burst feature right out of the box. Yeah, the Burst Wizard King Kong Super 2 MOSFET. It's available now. You can find it at most airsoft retailers.